A little cold, but Gail's going to warm it up for you. I know you'll enjoy this one.
Thank you, darling. Yes, we are going to warm up the room. We're going to raise your vibration, and we're going to be steaming hot by the end of this. So today we're going to work on subconscious things that are hidden within us. So this could be early childhood stuff. It could be past life stuff. Who believes in past lives? Good, because, yeah, that would not be good if you didn't. Okay, if you don't, then maybe you'll be a believer after all of this. So I first had a past life regression. I didn't believe in any of this stuff. Years ago, actually, my auntie was a Reiki master. She was the weird one in the family, and she'd seen a UFO. So I said, well, maybe you were abducted or something. We should go for one of those regression things and find out, right? So I actually went with her to see this person, and he said, do you want a past life regression? And I was like, okay, I mean, all right, fine, right? So that's how I got to have one. And so anyway, he does this kind of a light meditation thing. I don't really feel like I'm like asleep or in a trance or anything. And he starts asking me questions. And, where are you? What are you doing? And I'm kind of miserable old woman. I'm like, well, you can see what I'm doing. And he said, well, what are you doing? I've got stones, and I'm putting the stones on the fire. Well, why are you putting the stones on the fire? Duh, because I'm a healer. So why do you put the stones on the fire as a healer? Because I'm looking at spirit guidance, I'm looking at the messages, and I'm describing like all these things, and I'm this little old Native American woman. And then I go back to my house, which is kind of half cave and half in the side, and I talk about all these different rituals and things we do. But at the same time, I'm kind of like annoyed. Like, everybody knows this. What are you doing asking me these stupid questions for? And to me, I'm making up this. This is just like the first thing that comes to my imagination. This is not like I don't feel like I'm in a trance. I'm not like, under hypnosis or anything. I'm just kind of answering the questions. And he asked me about my life. Do I have a message for my life? And I was married at the time and didn't think I was going to be married that long. And she says, what's the message? And I said, you take a hot rock and you throw it in the ocean and it goes cold, and I don't need to take care of him anymore. And I was this Native American woman who used to look after this little boy, and now he'd grown up and had become a sailor, and I didn't have to take care of him anymore. And that was my husband in this lifetime, who happened to be a mariner engineer. So I come around, I'm like, yeah, I don't think that really happened. I'm streaming crying, but I've no emotion. And I can't stop sobbing, but I don't feel it. And I'm just feeling a little like, okay, that's kind of odd because I don't feel sad. And I just made that up. And he said, you were a shaman. You were an Indian shaman. And I'm like, what does that mean? What is that? And there were things that I talked about that I just couldn't possibly have known. And then after that, like little bits of that story opened up. And so the reason I'm telling you this is, I think when people think, oh, I'm going to have a regression, they think, oh, I'm going into this total trance, and I'm going to have no control, and I don't know what it is, and then this vision's going to come over me, and it's going to feel weird. It actually feels like you're making it up. So a lot of the times you're going to think, well, I didn't get it, I didn't do it right, I just made up a story. And then later you'll go, well, wait a minute, it was kind of strange that I made that up. So coming from England, I'd seen a few cowboy movies and thought all Native Americans lived in wigwams. And I had described this perfect place in Arizona that was cave in the back and like a wood hut in the front, just like, and I wouldn't have had a clue. And I described certain things that they did, which I would have had no reason. And I knew these stones that I was placing. I was told later on that is what they would do. They place the stones on the fire and they look at the smoke for messages. So that was long before I started doing weird, freaky stuff. That was when I was normal. I was in my early 20s. So I came over from England when I was 19. And then my auntie was visiting from England who'd seen this UFO. And supposedly she wasn't actually abducted, but she had seen this UFO. So that was kind of freaky. So it was only later on that I had this experience where I all of a sudden woke up and started doing weird, freaky stuff that I like to do now. And then I looked back at that regression. And then later on I learned how to do that to other people. And so how many of you will do healing work? How many do like Reiki or hands-on healing? Okay, so I'd like to also teach you how to do some of this regression so that not only you can do it on yourself, but you can do it on a friend or a loved one. And especially if you're doing healing work, you can incorporate that into your healing work. So you can do this while you're doing Reiki. You can do this. So a lot of our things are buried in our subconscious. A lot of our traumas are buried in our subconscious. And when we go to that place, sometimes just going to that place and realizing what it is, that's in itself healing, because we're realizing something and realizing that it doesn't really equate today. So perhaps you have something from a past life where you got murdered in a past life. And so now you have a fear of that person or that place or that thing. And when you uncover why you have that fear, you no longer have that fear. It could be something from your childhood, something that you don't know why you have a fear of something, a reaction to something. And when you discover that it was something and nothing, all of a sudden that in itself is healing. So sometimes just by going there is healing. And sometimes we need a little extra help. So I kind of mix in my Reiki and psychic surgery along with the regression. So when we go somewhere, if I feel like I can help with some psychic surgery or some Reiki healing to lift that energy, then I'm going to mix the two. So would you like to learn how to do a bit of both of that today? Yes, great. Okay, so sometimes we hide things in our subconscious when we have a traumatic event. So in our early childhood, when we have something that's traumatic, we hide it in our memories. That's what our brain does. It hides it away. And so it's trapped in there in our memories. And it creates issues later on, but we don't know why because we don't consciously remember it. So a lot of things happen to us when we're young. And it can be something that's quite simple. It could be, you were about to touch the stove and your mum went, "No, don't do that." But you as a little 2-year-old didn't know what was going on. And it was like I was reaching out to hug my mum and now she's mad with me. And, maybe I shouldn't have those feelings because it's bad. And then you lock that away as a traumatic memory. And really, it's like nothing. When you see it, when you figure it out, it's not really traumatic at all. But it's how you perceived it at the time and how you lock that away. Yeah? So I want you to think about, what is your earliest childhood memory? So as we're growing up, we remember some of the things, especially things that are important to us, but a lot of it just gets buried away, and any of these real kind of severe traumatic moments get buried away and we don't remember them. But because our brain's just developing, there's a lot of things we don't remember. Who remembers something about being in the crib or being very, very young? Yeah? Who has really no memories until they're like 4 or 5, 7 years old? Yeah, a lot of people don't. Okay, how many people are wondering if they have something trapped in a childhood memory? You have some vague memory, but you're like, I'm not sure if I quite remember that. Quite a lot of you. Okay. So sometimes you have a feeling that there's something there. You feel a little triggered by something. You have a fear. Anybody have a fear of something and they're wondering if something happened when they were young? Anybody have something where you're wondering if your parents did something? Like if they abused you in a way, or hurt you in some way, or somebody did something, but you're not really sure. Like you have a vague memory, or you're wondering if that's the case. Okay? Or other kind of strange relationships with a family, like you're like, did something happen there? Why do I have an issue with that family member? Right? So that could be something in this lifetime. Often, though, there are things from past lives, right? You've all had many past lives. You would not be in this room at Conscious Life Expo if you were a newbie and you've only on your first or second life, right? So I know that you've all had many, many lives. And we bring things over from lifetime to lifetime. We're always working on something. We're always working on our soul purpose, and we always have these different experiences. And we're going to take that over and we're going to bring it over in our soul memory. That comes over us. When we die, we go up to heaven. We talk about what we've learned, what we still need to complete, what we're still working on, what karma we've got going on, and then we bring that all back into this lifetime. And so before you came here, you already knew the things you were going to bring in and things you were going to work on. Then you come in and the veil comes over and you've got no clue what you're working on. So something might have happened in a past life, probably did, probably lots of things, that you're going to experience either the opposite of in this lifetime, because maybe you did something and you want to feel the opposite, or maybe you don't feel like it's resolved and you want to feel more. There's definitely relationships that you're going to feel that pull to. We do live in these soul groups, and so we kind of all incarnate together. And then as the first ones pass away, they wait till everybody's up there again, and then they come back. That's why you're usually waiting a while before you come back again, because we're all kind of together. And so people that you're close with are all soulmates. Do you have anybody that you dislike in your life? Anybody you've had a difficult relationship with? You know, difficult, either family member or a business person. Yeah, so these are your deepest connections, your deepest soulmates. Right? So those relationships are going to go from lifetime to lifetime. Usually, the karma that you're working on is going to pop up in your early childhood. So if you've had a traumatic event it's been in your childhood, something happened to you that was really traumatic in your childhood, likely is it didn't just start in this lifetime. It likely started somewhere also way back as well. Right. Sometimes we have physical remnants of past lives. Who has a birthmark or a mark somewhere on their body? Okay, so you have something, is it on your back? Where is it? Above your navel. Is it like a round? Okay, because I feel like you were shot with an arrow that went in once and out here, and it's kind of like a hole. Yeah? What do you have here? Okay, yeah, and yours was more like, I feel like it was an injury, like you smashed the whole area. Do you have problems with your hips or your legs?
My hip is kind of quite in the right place.
So hips kind of out of place. The bones are not quite right?
An issue right across.
And right across here, right? I mean, I feel like this whole area was crushed, but you can physically see a mark, right? Have you heard a mark? Moles can be also, yeah, it can look like, it doesn't have to be a birthmark, it can be like more of a mole mark. This is more like of an incision, kind of. It's like a line across here, right? Yeah, like here. It means you had something in a past life that was there. Yeah, so I feel like you were cut there. We'll get into that, but I feel like you were purposely cut there many times. Underneath your arms, so you have matching ones, right? So and sometimes twin flames. Sometimes it's one soul that has become two souls. Also, so I feel like this is the same. This is the same injury on both of you. Yeah. Yeah. On your neck, yeah. And you've had different issues with not being able to speak about things, people not allowing you to talk, neck pain, you know. So I definitely feel like you were hung in a past life. Yeah, and so that's why you've got a physical mark. Yeah, and that's like a stab, like a middle age, like a knife, a sword, a stab of some kind. You had surgery, same exact spot. Yeah, yeah. So let's imagine that, he's in the Middle Ages and he's in battle and he gets stabbed and he goes down. And the last thing that he remembers before he passes away is that he's been stabbed in the side and that he's all bleeding here, and then he dies and he goes up there. And this karma, this injury has not been dealt with yet. The energy's still there. So when you come back into this lifetime, that energy is still there. Doesn't know what it is. There's nothing physically wrong with it, but he's born with that energy there. So now it's going to manifest in some way throughout his lifetime. So he's going to have a problem, or you're going to have an accident. You think it's just random, but it's not. Something's going to come up where it flares up, so you ended up having surgery on that. So you have to finally deal with the energy. And it's your soul saying, I haven't completed that energy. I haven't resolved that, so I need to resolve it. And so you did finally resolve it, and it came to something, and you ended up having surgery. Okay, how about odd relationships? Who has odd relationships where maybe you have a sibling or a parent, and you just feel like it's that for some reason they're different to you, like they're different with you and your other siblings?
Well, we're identical.
Yeah?
So I've always kind of wondered what that
Identical twins definitely have a lot of karma together, often, soulmates that have traveled very closely together. Sometimes there are even souls that split into two, so you can have two different experiences, but especially when you're very close. And I've met twins that, I have a girlfriend who's a twin, and if she cuts her left finger, her twin the same day will cut her right finger. They got a scar here, and his one's got a scar here. And every time something happens now, they're like, oh, whoa, wait, something's going to happen. You better be careful today. Very connected spiritually. Anybody else got strange relationships? Yeah?
My wife and I are very different.
Your wife and... So you're attracted to your wife, but you're very opposite. So people that we have a strong connection with in this lifetime, they're going to be somebody that we've had a connection with before. Could be good, could be not so good, could be challenging. So imagine that you die, you go to heaven, you're thinking about what you're going to learn. And one of the things you need to learn is need to learn to love myself. Okay, so what do I need to do in this lifetime? Well, I'd like to have a crappy relationship because that'll really, help me love myself. And then this person that was, was mean to you in a past life, I'll play that role again. I love you dearly, so I'll be that crappy husband, or I'll be that horrible girlfriend. And you think everything's good, and you meet that person. Well, when you meet that person, you're seeing your soulmate. You go, oh, that's my soulmate. It's like we know each other. We understand each other. We're so connected. We're drawn. It's like we know each other from before. Yeah, you do. And that could be good. Might be having a nice life together, but they can also be that lesson, right? Because in order to affect you, you can't know what's happening, and they got to be able to really get to you. So first, you have this great relationship, you're feeling just really connected, then they start pushing your buttons, and they hurt you more than anybody because they can. And so you start having this terrible relationship, and you're like, I should leave, I should do something, but you don't. You want a little bit more abuse, right, before. Need to learn, really needs to sink in, so you go with it a little bit longer. And maybe eventually you say, okay, I've had enough of this, and I'm going to cut that person out of my life, right? Anybody done that? Okay. And then what usually happens? You bring in another one, right? Who's done that? I've done that, right? So now you bring in you bring another one, a different person, but exactly the same thing. You think, oh, now this one's great. This one's totally different. right? And then you start having the same thing again. Why? Because you never really absorb that lesson. The first time you didn't say, okay, I get what's going on here. I love myself. I'm not going to put up with that situation. I'm not only going to cut that person out of my life, but I'm not going to allow that anymore because I don't need that anymore. I don't need that experience. I've had that lesson. And then when we've had that lesson, now we can attract a beautiful one. But until we do that, we're going to keep having to give ourselves a little bit more abuse. Yeah?
I came from a big family. I love all of them, but I have a problem with one brother. But all of I have very loving family.
And the parents treat you and your brother like they don't. Like, what are you talking about? We treat you the same, and you're like, no, you don't.
No, one brother had difficulty, like
So her and her brother have difficulty, like for no apparent reason.
no reason. Even I treat him well, like
Yeah,
do my best.
yeah, and he'll probably say, I don't know what you're talking about.
But he had war trauma also.
He had war trauma.
Was in the military.
Yeah. And we're all intertwined. So, you've got your karmic stuff. You're drawing in other people that have got their karmic stuff. We're here for lessons together. It's amazing how it all works so intricately. But you can't fix somebody else without fixing yourself. So you can't say, hey, Gail, can you do some healing on that person? Can you change that person? And you can't do that. You have to change yourself. You change your energy, you'll be really surprised how the people around you can change. You were going to ask?
Yeah, I just have a question regarding what you were saying about leaving a relationship that you know is not good for you, and then getting into a new one. Why isn't leaving the relationship good enough?
Because you leave the relationship and you get rid of that person, but you still have that energy. So let's say somebody won't let you speak up. They're being very abusive. Maybe you get rid of that person, but you still have got that energy of, I don't deserve this. I'm not good enough. And so the energy is attracting another one the same because you haven't actually resolved the karma or the energy. So the reason that person showed up in the first place is because you attract that energy. You don't know it. You don't mean it. You attract somebody that's going to be mean to you. You don't purposely do it, but it's your energy that's attracting that for you to learn a lesson from it. And until you learn the lesson from it, and so what you have to do is when you're in a difficult situation, say, what am I supposed to learn from this? Right? What is the lesson in this? And even if you can't figure it out, I'd like to be done with that. I want to release this karma because it's only you that's holding on to it. It's not like God saying, oh, you need to have this. We're the ones that brought this experience and want to have it. So we're the ones that can say, all right, I don't need to have this anymore, and now I'm going to release it. Okay. Anybody feel like they may have something in their early childhood that they kind of have a feeling, a remembrance, but they're not really sure? Yeah?
Well, I was told that, and I was told that by multiple psychics.
So you were told you have something, but you don't actually remember it.
Right, ages 3, 4, and then either 6, 7, or 8, and then also something in the military. When I was in the military.
Okay. So let's have a look at your subconscious today so we can find out for yourselves and see what it is. Because sometimes people will tell you something, but you have to kind of experience it for yourself and go there in order to release that energy. Just somebody telling you is not really going to help you. We need to take you to that place, have you feel and release that. Yeah?
I came from a war country, so I had losing people, and hearing death after death after death, and so a lot of grief.
Okay, so she's holding a lot of grief because she lost a lot of people. She came from a country with a lot of war and came with a lot of grief. And that is something that you would bury and might come up later as a trauma or symptoms, but we don't know what it is. And probably in a past life, there's something, as to why you needed to experience that, why your soul wanted to experience that. And we want to make sure that you're done with that cycle. Anybody else feel like they're curious about something in their childhood? Yeah?
So I had a fear of
Okay, fear of the darkness, fear of snakes around the bed. Okay, well, you brought up something else because there's also other things that we have got buried in our psyche. It's not all bad, right? We also all have psychic talents, and a lot of you are blocked in some way because we don't always develop those things. We're not encouraged to develop those things when we're young. So I know that a lot of you here have had past lives as using your psychic abilities as actually seers or healers in a past life. Very, very powerful beings in this room. And a lot of you have come into this lifetime where it's not really accepted. And perhaps you saw stuff when you were younger. So I think you were actually experiencing some psychic stuff when you were younger. And I think there's several other people, this lady over here did, used to see things in your room when you were younger, right? And then you block it out because, you know, your mum, dad said it's not there. You don't have an imaginary friend. You can't do those things. And so some of the talents that we would probably like to experience. Would you like to have those talents? Yeah? So I'd like to open that up too, because I feel that there's a lot of our psychic talents and healing talents that we have suppressed and we've buried. Sometimes in past life you've been persecuted for it and got into trouble. So in this lifetime you're like, well, I know I'm psychic, but I better be careful with that. And sometimes it's just, you know, growing up in this Western world, your parents have just said, that's not real, that doesn't exist. And if you think it's not real, then you think, oh, I just didn't see that. How many of you have had UFO or extraterrestrial experiences, seen something? A few of you, okay. So also what I found with that is people sometimes have seen things and they see things that are paranormal or extraterrestrial, so they've seen a UFO or they've seen a ghost, and their mind just goes, that doesn't look right. That doesn't compute. That's not real. And so our mind kind of acts like a trauma and puts that to the side, and we can't remember it. And that's why a lot of people who have seen UFOs or had those experiences, they've chalked it up to something else, or they just can't remember it. So they've had extremely strange experiences, and an hour later they've forgotten all about it because their brain won't allow it. So there's also some interesting, I wouldn't say traumatic, what we call traumatic, but there's interesting, and some of the powers and abilities that we have are locked away. So I'd like to tap into your subconscious and also get out those abilities as well, yeah? Seeing numbers all the time, that's usually angels talking to you. So how many of you see signs from your angels, your guides, right? So they try to communicate to you. Often they'll give you repeating numbers. Sometimes you'll go up and look what those numbers mean. But usually when you're seeing repeating numbers, it's a sign that they're talking to you. It's usually a good luck sign that they're there with you. It's very positive. Sometimes they'll give you a sign of a loved one, like a butterfly, or there'll be a certain sign that you have between you. So that's a different kind of thing. That's just like your spiritual communication and your spirit's talking to you. Okay, yeah? And that they were extraterrestrial, or they were... They scared you. Were they extraterrestrial or were they human? They were extraterrestrial, yeah. So he got really frightened when he was 6 or 7 because he saw entities, UFO entities in his room. But I'm surprised you even remember it. There'll be other people that have that and just don't even remember it anymore. So it's nice that you remember some of that. And yeah, it can be scary, and that's why we block it out. Anything that we don't understand is scary. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to start by, I want you to think of one thing. Pick one thing that you'd want to work on. So this could be a relationship that you're curious about. It could be a block in this lifetime that you have, or a health issue that you have. I want you to pick one thing, and we're going to go back to your childhood and see if there's anything there and then we'll maybe even take you back to a past life. And I want to see, where this comes from. So we'll pick one thing at a time because it gets a little confusing if you're working on different things because they might come from different areas. So everybody want to pick one thing? You want to pick? Who wants to pick like a relationship? Who wants to pick like a health issue? Or a block? It could be like I can't get my career going, or financial, or something. Right? Does everybody have one thing they want to work on to start with? Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through a light meditation. It's going to feel like you're just making it up. I just want you to think like the first thing that comes to mind. And don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes you're trying too hard, and sometimes you're like, well, I don't get anything, I don't see anything. You're seeing with your imagination, you're seeing with your mind's eye, and some of you will feel more than you will see, and some of you will be like, I'm not really getting it, but you are. So even if you're not seeing it, don't worry about it. And I'm also going to ask beautiful guides that are working with us today to do healing work. We've already put protection all over this room. We've invited in beautiful beings that want to do the healing and release anything for you. And we're only working with beautiful divine beings and nothing negative in this room today. Okay, close your eyes. Just get nice and relaxed. Open your legs. Don't have your legs crossed and your arms. And Sydney, if you want to put on some music, this is my daughter who's very intuitive, Sydney Thackray at the back there. So if she has some music, if not, it's okay. So close your eyes, and I'm going to set the intention in this room. We've got beautiful beings in here. We've got beautiful guides and masters and angels that are all around this room. You have your own personal guides working with you today. They're here, and they're putting a white light all around you, white light of protection. And we're going to go on a little journey today to our subconscious. And we're holding in our mind the one thing that you'd like an answer to. See if we can give you some insight on that. I want you to imagine that you're standing at the top of a flight of stairs and you're looking down. And at the bottom of the stairs is a door to your subconscious. I'm going to count you down the steps. You're going to go one step at a time. And as we go down, we're going to go deeper and deeper into your subconscious. We're going to go down into your early childhood. And we're going to see what we may unlock in our childhood. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In front of you is a door. And when you're ready, you can open that door and step inside. And this is deep inside your subconscious. This is in your early childhood. And just start to be aware of where you are. Look at your feet and your fingers. You may see yourself as a small child, an infant. You may remember this memory or you may not. And just think about, what are you feeling? What are you sensing? Where are you? And even if you find yourself in a difficult place, you know that you're safe. You're looking inside your subconscious. Look around the room. Who is there? Is it your parents? Who's there with you? Maybe they're saying something to you. and tune into how you feel. And I see some of you getting emotional. That's okay. We're going to send love to this small child inside our subconscious. We're going to send love and tell this small child that you are protected. Tell this young child that you are being heard. And even if it seems like something small and insignificant, understand that you've been holding on to this. Maybe it's something you misconstrued. We're going to ask to release any negative energy. We're going to ask to release any karma. We're going to send love and forgiveness to the people around us. So if somebody said something hurtful to you, somebody physically abused you, somebody hurt you in any way, understand that this was just a karmic action that we chose to have, and now we release that. We only want to bring through the wisdom that that brings. We're leaving that karmic energy in the past. It is now resolved. We're asking the beautiful angels to touch you and to release any of this energy, any of the negative energy that's affecting you. Okay, now we're going to go further back in time. Now we're going to go back to a time further back to find out anything else we need. So this may take you into a past life. I'm going to count you down. We're going to come into another time where it started. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now look down at your feet. You may experience yourself in a previous life. Look at your feet, look at your body, see what you're wearing, understand where you are. They may see the same relationships in this past life. You may be having a difficult time. I see that some of you are quite emotional. That's okay. Just try to get as much information as you can. Try to understand why you've gone to this place, and then send love and forgiveness to these people. Anybody that's hurting you, or if you're hurting someone else, understand that this is just a karmic transaction. You no longer need to have this continuing to affect your life. You release and heal anything that's still bothering you in this lifetime. You have angels and guides all around you, and you just give them permission to come through your body and to heal and release any of this karmic energy you no longer use. We don't need this karmic circle anymore. It's not going to affect us in this lifetime anymore. Now I want you to see your true psychic gifts, your true psychic ability. Some of you may see that you have psychic vision, that you can feel things, that you can see things, you can sense things. I'm going to ask that you are shown your psychic ability. We ask that that is no longer blocked. We'd like to bring that gift into this lifetime. So I'd like you to experience your own psychic gifts, your hearing, your seeing, your sensitivity, without fear. We're going to leave this karma in the past life. We're going to roll forward in time until it is the day of your birthday in this lifetime. You're inside your mother's womb. You're about to be born. You're about to come into this life. But now you're coming in with all your powers and abilities. You can see and sense psychically. You're happy to be alive. You know what your soul purpose is. You're coming into this life. You're about to be born. You're about to come down the birth canal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take your first breath. See yourself as that small child. See yourself now, you've come into this life without that karmic energy, without that problems. You no longer have that issue that you had. That karma's been cleared and deleted. You're no longer blocked spiritually. You have your psychic abilities. You're coming through into this lifetime with the psychic abilities. You're growing older. And as you grow older, you're developing your psychic gifts. You no longer have that karmic energy that's holding you back. As you're rolling forward in time, happy to be alive, coming into this room, open, connected, and spiritually aware as you start to feel your body on your chair. You start to feel your feet on the ground. And gently, gently open your eyes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wake up. Remember everything. Ooh. Ooh. You may want to stand up and just shake it up. Did you guys feel that?
Yes.
Wow. Would you like to share? So tell me, what was your intention? What were you working on when I asked you to think of something?
At first, I thought it was my brother who passed away in a tragic accident, drowning accident. He was 5. I was 6 years old. My brother was 8. But then it went back to a time when we were all together. I must have said something that my mom did not like, and she told me to go wash my mouth out with soap. And I walked into the room by myself, and I grabbed the bar of soap, put it in my mouth, and washed my mouth with soap. I don't know, I can't remember what I said, but she didn't like it. She goes, "Go wash your mouth out with soap." So I did that, and it brought me back to that point to like, I can't say things to my mom. So my whole life I was kind of quiet about what really was going on in my life. And I couldn't share the truth with her because I felt like she couldn't approve of me, you know? And so that got released, which is beautiful.
So he'd been hiding that for many years. He didn't even know that it was the one time, and probably she didn't say it in a big, mean way. She just, figuratively speaking, but you took it to heart all these years. Now, did you go into a past life after that?
I did. I'm trying to think now. Remember, it's not clear.
Because I feel like you went into a past life with your brother. And I feel like your brother sacrificed himself in a past life. I think you were both accused of something, and he took the blame. And I feel like he died in a past life also, and it was that coming back again. So there was a lot of feeling in this lifetime of guilt. When your brother passed away, you somehow felt like you were responsible.
No, I did not. It was my older brother did. I did not feel responsible. But my older brother did. It affected him tragically.
So maybe it was the older brother that was that.
Yes, for sure, it was him, my older brother, Arthur.
Well, thank you for sharing. Anybody else have a powerful, thank you. Anybody else have a powerful experience? Would you like to share? So what were you thinking about when we did this?
I was just going back into the womb and just seeing all the light and the sort of dangerous optimism I have in my soul, and just having that in a safe place. And then growing up, my father was very vocally abusive, so he was yelling, Latin, like just every moment of peace as a child, as a baby from 0 to 5, was always yelling. So all that peace that I really want was always like just, taken.
And did you go into a past life also, and what did you see?
Yes, actually, that was incredible. It was like a neo-Gothic architecture, castle style. I woke up in like a Renaissance dress, and it was like elven or like, like the Middle Earth. It was, I don't know if it was real or not, but it was just this beautiful Renaissance in it. And I could hear my laughter like echo through the chambers and the stone steps. And I had a really big bed, and it was really beautiful.
So I got that you were a very powerful person in a past life, that you were some kind of royalty, and that you were kind of vocal and would, talk about a lot of political things. And I feel like you got in trouble. And so there was a lot in this lifetime of not liking people to be loud and shouting out and being vocal about their things, almost like a little afraid of that because you got in trouble for it.
That resonates highly. Yes.
But that's cleared now. We don't have that anymore.
Have a coldness around my neck and I like a beheaded or something like that.
Yeah, so that's what I feel. Definitely that's what happened to you because you were busy talking and spreading the word that you shouldn't be talking about.
I'm still not afraid.
Thank you. So what I'd like to do is I know it's kind of a big room, but if we go quickly, I'd like to do, rather than attuning everybody and opening up your psychic senses, I'd like to do a real quick little one on each of you individually. Open up your psychic senses, see if I pick up on anything as to, where your abilities come from. And then we're going to use that. I'm going to show you how to do this on yourself and how to do it on your partner and other people. But first, I want to open up your psychic abilities. So I want you to be able to guide somebody, but also when you're guiding them to be able to see what's going on. So not just be able to guide them and ask them, but then, so you can see along with them. And then if you want to do some healing, then you can also do some healing at the same time, because often things come up and we want to do healing. So I'd like to open you up psychically. And I want to work with whatever gifts you have from a past life. So some of you are going to be more visual, some of you are going to be more clairaudient. I'll try to see if I can pick up and enhance those gifts. Open your third eye, but also your clairaudience and your clairvoyance and your clairsentience. Sounds good? All right, so a couple ways you can test your clairvoyance and clairaudience. And I'm going to have you kind of, while I individually tune you, I'll have you work with my daughter, Sydney, who's very in tune, so she knows how to do this. But when I've attuned you and we open up psychically, your energy is going to raise. You're going to feel like a bigger vibration. You don't want to feel that all the time. You want to be, at rest when you're not using it. Otherwise, you kind of like, it's almost like you get a bit lightheaded. But when you've been attuned and you call in your energy is going to power up, and you can see it with the pendulum. So I'm going to show you my energy at rest, and then when I power up. So here's at rest. So you have a little bit of energy? So you should have a little bit of energy. If you're not dead, there should be a little bit moving, right? And then I'm going to call in my energy. I'll show you afterwards how to do that, and we'll see if my energy goes up. Okay, did it increase? Right. Now I'm a little bit lightheaded. Okay, so I'm going to have you practice that with Sydney. She'll show you how to do that and how to, and then how to come down. Ooh, I'm so feeling a bit like. You also see me wearing a lot of crystals. I resonate with crystals, and you'll see me wearing different coloured ones. I'm wearing the blue one today because this is for opening up the third eye. But there are other ones that resonate with different chakras. So you can play with the energy and see if you can feel energy, see which ones resonate with you and which ones enhance your third eye. And then you can borrow some of my stuff if you want to when we come back. So I'm going to leave you with Sydney, and I'm going to take, I'm going to start over here, and if you can give me like 4 or 5 people, and then we'll just quickly one at a time, and then you can go down to Sydney. Okay? Everybody clear? All right, so you can go near the back over there, and Sydney will work with you. And I'll take, you guys want to all go first? Okay. Let's try to make this really fast. So, this will be the next. This will be the next.
Brownstones. I'm like, really? Really? I could do the brownstone.
And I had exactly where you're at, right? If you recognize the fact that you go, whoa. Yeah, what did you do? Right. Yeah. 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 Oh. Oh. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Nice. I enjoyed it. It's what I enjoy the most of anything else. Yeah. I think that's just funny that she reaffirmed sounded like yours. Yes. Yes. And he's so you guys are friends. You guys are friends. So they expect us to move back to
When we come back in a minute, we're going to be in partners. So you can start finding a partner. It can be just a person next to you. Decide who's going to be your partner. And you're going to be deciding on what you'd like to work on. And we're going to be regression each other. You guys don't have to stand in line. You can kind of go all surround Sydney over there and start picking up the crystals and feeling the energy. You don't have to stand in line to work with us. So just, go inundate her, go over there, and she can work with a whole bunch of you at the same time. And then I just got a few more. Just keep me going. When we come back, we're going to be working in partners on your chairs. So you can use the person next to you, decide who's going to be your partner, say hi, and figure out what you'd like to work on. As far as the attunements, I'm doing 2 at a time over here, and I think people are lining up over there. So if you haven't had your attunement, come on up. Okay, so we're going to get a partner and make yourself nice and comfy. So if you want to unhook the chairs and face each other, or you can get where you kind of... and what you're going to be doing is you're going to decide who's going to go first, like who is going to be the client and who's going to be the healer. And the healer, I'm going to be working with you, and we're going to be regressing your clients. So see if you can get two chairs turned facing each other, or just get nice and comfy so that you can face each other. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time. We're going to kind of quickly run through this. So decide who's going to be the clients and what you'd like to work on, and who's going to be the healer. So if you haven't quite finished up back there, you can finish afterwards. So come and find your partner. Does everybody have a partner? Anybody not got a partner? Okay, right, and you know what they want to work on? Okay, so client, you know what you're being worked on, just relax. And healer, you're going to work with me. First, we're going to put a bubble of white light around you. So shh, bubble of white light around you. And you're going to go to your client, and you're going to get close to them, and you're going to whisper to them. So we're going to count them down. Let's count down 10 steps to the door. So get close to your client and count down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now tell your client to open the door when they're ready. And they're going to find themselves in another time or place. So you want to ask them to describe the place. And as they do, you're going to see what insights you get. And we're also just going to ask angels to do any karmic healing on them while they're there. So start by asking them, what do they have on their feet? Looking up the body, looking around them, seeing who else is there. See if you can talk them into seeing a scene of what is happening, and see if you can get a resolution as to where this issue came from them. And then when you finish, we're going to ask the angels to heal whatever karmic energy is there. So ask your client to describe the scene and what's going on. And use your psychic abilities to see if you can also see and understand why they're having that experience. You want to see if you can, as a psychic, you want to see if you can figure out what it is, why they're experiencing this. Okay, then we're going to count them back. Tell them thank you. We're going to dissolve any karmic energy from that lifetime. We're now going to count you back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wake up and remember everything. And then just share with your partner what you felt and why you had that. And then we're going to switch. Okay, now we're going to switch roles. So the person who was the healer, now we're going to work on you. So now decide what issue you'd like to work on. And then the new healer is going to be working with me. So decide what the new person wants to work on. If it's a block or a health issue or a question that they have. And then the new healer, when you're ready, we're all going to work together. So new healer, you can stand up if you like, whatever you prefer. Shh, put a white light around you. So new healers, shh, get nice and quiet. Shh. Put a white light around you. And then get close to your client, and you're going to whisper, you're going to count them down the steps. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tell them to walk through the door. And now you're going to ask them to tell you where they are. You can start by asking, what are you wearing on your feet? Look up your body, kind of get an idea of what time it is, what place it is, and have them describe the scene. And you want to see, why have they gone to that scene? What's happening? And if there's some karmic energy that's stuck there, we're asking the beautiful divine beings that are in this room just to release whatever karma it is there. So we're just kind of trying to unlock whatever karmic energy is stuck there. So see if they can tell you a little story and if you can figure out why that is coming up for them. And then let's ask that any karmic energy from that lifetime that's stuck, that's now released, as beautiful spirits that are here with you working to release any of that karmic energy. And then we're going to bring them back around. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wake up and remember everything. And now you can share a little bit about your experience and why you had that.
Going back to the booth. No, I mean, like, do you want me to pass out cards and stuff to people? Because we haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I'll mention it to them. They can do that at the booth, I think, because it's kind of getting kicked out now.
Oh,
It's 1:32. Okay, did your partner get something for you? Was that amazing? Okay, give your partner a big hug. Tell them thank you for sharing. I wish we had a lot longer. I do have a certificate for all of you. I have a subconscious regression healer certificate, but I'm going to do them at my booth because they need the room. So there's the certificate that we're going to get, and my booth is M10. It's on this floor, and you just come out and go around the corner. And I'll give you a certificate over there. And also, if you have any questions about today, or you want to just share your experience, I'd love to hear from you. So come back to my booth. We'll do the certificates at the booth. Tonight, we have a cacao ceremony. We did one last night. It was off the charts amazing. So that's at 7 o'clock tonight. We have a private suite upstairs. I think we can only take about 8 or 9 people. We did it last night, and yeah, it was pretty amazing. One guy started channeling. There were people very emotional. We did a lot of healing. It's a sacred cacao, and then it's going to be, you go to my booth to sign up if you want to do that. And if any of you are around tomorrow, Monday, I am going to be staying. I'm going to be doing a workshop tomorrow. I'd love to have you tomorrow. You can sign up with Conscious Life Expo for that. Oh, yeah, if you borrowed a crystal, please return it. If you want to purchase anything, everything's half price for the show special. But if you did borrow something, please return it or go make a deal with Sydney. I will see you back at the booth. Yay.